A very good evening to our honored guests and speakers and all the members for joining us on this virtual CPE meeting organized by the Digital Accounting and Assurance Board and hosted by Safa Committee on Information Technology of ICI. We'll be having amongst us CA Dr. Devashish Mitra, President of ICI, CA Aniket Sunil Talati, Vice President ICI, Mr. H.M. Heniake Bandara, President Safa, CA Nihar N. Jammu Saria, Vice President Safa, CA Charanjot Singh Ji Nanda, Chairman Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, CA Dayanivas Sharma, Vice Chairman Digital Accounting and Assurance Board. We welcome you to the VCM on Opportunities in Data Analytics for Professional Accountants. A very time-sensitive and dynamic topic, which will be covered in length and breadth by equally dynamic and eminent speakers today. We have amongst us, for the first technical session, CA Saran Kumar Yu, the eminent speaker, and later CA Nikun Shah, another eminent speaker, shall be joining us. It's a warm and inspirational feeling to start this VCM with the blessings of CA C.S. Nandaji, who has an illustrative career and a life dedicated to making the profession reach the highest echelons. Presently, Sir is the elected Central Council member of 25th Council of ICI and Chairperson of Digital Accounting and Assurance Board ICI. He was the member of Quality Review Board set up by the Government of India, was the member the Central Council ICI 2004 to 2016. He was the chairman of Committee of Internal Audit of ICI and also the chairman of Committee for Members in Industry of ICI. He was the chairman of Women Members Empowerment Committee of ICI. Besides these, Sir had been the member and chairman of various committees of CIRC and NIRC since 1998. So we are so glad to have you here and request you to introduce our VCM topic and set the backdrop for the same. Over to you, sir.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot, Ashima-ji, for giving me the opportunity. The Honorable President Safa, T.A. Bhandara sir, TMA Bhandara sir, the Vice President Safa and past President ICA and my elder brother CA Jammu Saria ji, the Reverend Speaker CA Saran Kumar, and all who have come here to go home more enlightened. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a series of programs which DAB is conducting for Safa. I want to tell you one thing very candidly. The way the world is moving on, the way things are into a technological trap, it is giving us a lot of benefits. Technology gives us primarily three benefits. Number one, you don't have to do works on samples, you do it on 100%. Number two, when you are inclined in using technology, the environment becomes error-free. And number three, and very important, no holidays, no cost escalations. But the biggest disadvantage is that it will never know its master. Technology will always be driven by the man who knows how to drive it. And that is the reason so many frauds enter in. And wherever frauds occur, forensic has to be there. Ladies and gentlemen, our board, your board, DAB, Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, is totally inclined to ensure that forensic standards are put up to the highest level. I am thankful to the President and Vice President Safa for giving this opportunity to DAB in India to hold programs every fortnightly. Today our program is on digital analytics. Very, very important thing. I can tell you that today artificial intelligence, blockchains and digital assurance, I'm using the word digital assurance here. India, I got a call from the SEBI chairman. She was very happy that digital assurance is taking its call in Indian circumstances. You will need to understand one thing very clearly. When you are working in a digital assurance, everything can be corroborated by digital evidence, except two things. One is depreciation and other is the employee benefits. So that again brings a big barrier to forensic practices where the turnovers or other important facets of revenue are increased to a larger level. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to put across that forensic is one of those rare sciences in terms of accounting practice, which is growing at a larger pace. I would urge the Honorable President and Vice President Safa that you are all aware that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India came with 23 forensic investigation and accounting standards last year. So I would request all the President to ensure that all Safa countries take the maximum benefit of these standards. We have a Safa meeting on 15th, and I'll be bringing the literature with me, which will distribute to all fellow representative of all fellow Safa country members, so that we can take forward the standards of forensic accounting. Largely, it will help people write homogeneous reports, and very importantly, ensuring that every case that is referred to forensic and ultimately draws some merit is used by prosecution for awarding the appropriate punishment. I will not speak much. I want to thank you all. And today's topic again, where you draw information out of digital data. When data comes to you, how do you analyze that? Three important facets in today's technological area. One is data analytics, second is artificial intelligence, and third is blockchains. They will ultimately change the way how things move. Earlier, gold was the in thing. Today, data is the in thing. People who have right data and know how to use the right data are people who are flourishing and prospering at a larger pace. I want to urge upon all my Safa country professionals that ultimately we have to be driven by technology, and forensic practice amongst technology will be one of the most niche practice. So I can promise on this behalf of the chairman, the Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, that we shall continue to have many such programs to hone the technical skills of fellow members of Safa countries. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak. Madam, we could request the Vice President Safa to kindly speak and enlighten the members on the professional opportunities and how we can use data analytics in our daily course. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nanda sir. A man of professional wisdom, vision, and strong organizational skill, with a firm belief in all-round inclusive growth of Indian chartered accountancy profession, CA Jammu Saria was the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for the year 2021-22. CA Jammu Saria, the vice president of Safa, and also the member of Professional Accountants in Business Advisory Group of International Federation of Accountants. CA Jammu Saria was a member of very important committees constituted by the government and regulators relating to policy formation that include Government Accounting Standards Advisory Board and Audit Advisory Board, both constituted by the CAG of India. He was also the board member, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, Insurance Advisory Committee and Apex Committee of IRDA, and member of SEBI's Primary Market Advisory Committee. May I request Jammu Saria sir to share a few words and anecdotes from his professional career and address our members.
Thank you, Asimaji. President Safa, CMA N.I.K. Bandaraji, the chairman of Digital Accounting and Assurance Board at ICAI and Information Technology Committee of Safa, CA Charanjot Singh Nandaji, the Vice Chairman of DAB, CA Dayanivas Sarmaji, today's two learned speakers, that is Saran Kumarji and Nikunj, and all the participants. At the outset, good evening to all of you, and welcome to this webinar. Let me mention that Nandaji, as the head of this committee, IT committee, has put this committee on fire by organizing programs which are of relevance today and which are so important for all professionals to survive and grow in the profession. You will all agree that the whole gamut of information technology lies in the words ABCD or letters ABCD. That is artificial intelligence, blockchain, cyber security, and data analytics. Out of these four, today the webinar is on a very relevant topic, opportunities of data analytics for professional accountants. Friends, I may say that today data is the new oil. Previously, all countries of the world used to give lot of value to oil. And today, I think without traveling, without oil, if something which fetches a lot of value for future decision making is data analytics. And why data analytics? See, today we are in the era where data comes in large volumes. And this is because all businesses have grown multifold. So data is not as small as it used to be, say, 15, 20, or 25 years back. And it is humanly impossible for any human being to analyze this data, which comes in large volumes, and plethora of this data requires analysis. And here, information technology comes to our rescue. These data are organized very systematically. And data analysis is nothing but using digital data as efficiently as possible. So it is nothing but making sense of mass data, huge data, and we have been talking about big data for years. Machine learning is very important now. Machine learning, by which training of algorithms for processing large volumes of collected data to refine its predictions and data interpretation skills, is very important today. And we have two very eminent speakers to explain what is the future of data analytics and how, by doing various courses and learning data analytics, a professional can add a lot of value to the business. In the initial stages, data analytics were used only for marketing. But today, data analytics techniques are used for marketing, finance, human resource management, and so many other decision making for the purpose of business. And data analysis, I would put it as one of the sectors of the future. So let us, as professional accountants, learn data analytics, and none other than professional accountants can really generate a lot of value out of data analytics, because they are those who understand finance very well. They can put value, they can add value to business and in decision making of businessmen. So let me once again congratulate the chairman and vice chairman of this committee of Safa for organizing this webinar for the benefit of participants. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm sure that this webinar will add a lot of value to all the participants who are attending today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jammu Saria, sir. We are so glad we have amongst us Mr. H.M. Heniake Bandara, President Safa. Mr. H.M. Heniake Bandara, a fellow and founder member FCMA, is the Vice President of the Institute of Certified Management Accountants of Sri Lanka, CMA. And this is the first time that CMA Sri Lanka representative has been appointed as the Vice President of SAFA since its admission as a member in 2010. He has been associated with SAFA since 2005 in various capacities. He is the recipient of the CMA Award for Excellence in Business Management at the SAFA CMA Management Accounting Summit held in 2012. He also had the opportunity of working very closely with all Sri Lankan past presidents of SAFA. His contribution to the field of professional education counts more than 2 decades. Mr. Heniake is a past president of Association of Accounting Technicians of Sri Lanka, past president of Association of Professional Bankers Sri Lanka, council member of CA Sri Lanka, treasurer, Organization of Professional Associations of Sri Lanka, director, Institute of Bankers of Sri Lanka, and council member of Sri Lanka Institute of Advanced Technological Education. He was the general manager, CEO of National Savings Bank of Sri Lanka, chairman NatWell Securities Limited, and director of many companies, including financial institutions, and has served as the director of World Saving Banks Institute, representing Asia and Pacific region. Currently, he serves as an advisory council member of APBSL, independent director, Prime Finance PLC, and council member of the Institute of Chartered Professional Managers of Sri Lanka, CPMSL. Sir, please may I request you to speak to our members and share your experience and knowledge.
Thank you for the kind introduction. So good evening to all of you. Please bear with me. I will not be able to on my camera because there is our interruption in our area.
No issues, sir. No issues. It's an honor that you are here. Really.
Mr. CA Jammu Saria, Vice President Safa and past President of ICA India. Mr. C.S. Nanda, Chairman Safa Committee on Information Technology and Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of ICA India. More importantly, eminent speakers, moderator, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me thank the Chairman Safa Committee on Information Technology for organizing this webinar on the subject of opportunities in data analytics for professional accountants and inviting me to address you all. I also would like to appreciate the support extended by Vice President Safa, Dr. Mitra, President ICA India, to organize this awareness session for the benefit of the accounting fraternity in the South Asian region. Ladies and gentlemen, as you already heard, emerging technologies and digitalization are reshaping business models, finance and accounting practices. At the same time, digital technologies are generating mountains of data, providing organizations with potential to better manage risk, seize new opportunities, and improve insights. However, without enhanced data analytics and governance, this data provides little value. When it comes to enhancing the quality of audits, forecast, and improving the understanding of performance, analytics can offer a significant boost. Even International Federation of Accountants also encourage professional accountancy organizations to ensure their members to have access to relevant high-quality continuing education and certification programs. In that context, the webinar organized by the Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of ICA India will be beneficial not only to the members of ICA India, but for the entire South Asian region. With those remarks, let me thank once again the Chairman and Organizing Committee for inviting me, and I wish the webinar all success. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for those words of wisdom and highlighting the issues regarding the data analytics and the data mining stuff. Now, I think we can start with the technical session. Nanda sir, should we start with the technical session?
Yes, madam. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Thanks, President sir. Thank you, Vice President sir Safa. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you so much. We have amongst us a very accomplished guest speaker, CA Saran Kumar Hugh, who is a ISA qualified certified holder in forensic accounting and fraud detection. He has a vast experience to speak of and has conducted all types of audits of banks from statutory to current, statutory to concurrent, revenue to credit audit, stock audit, inspection, fraud detection, internal audit, transactional audit, data analytics, including reconciliation, etc. CA Saran has worked with Microsoft and Credit Suisse Bank for more than 4 years now and has more than 10 years experience in handling analytical tools like Microsoft Excel, IDEA, Power Query, etc. We welcome you, sir, and request you to enrich us with your vast experience on our topic, widely used tools and techniques of data analytics. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ashmita ma'am, for the introduction. I always thank DAP chairman Nanda sir for always his passion towards conducting more sessions which empower students as well as members. In fact, very happy to note on record that last 2 weeks back to back, I have taken 2 sessions for the students on the same topics of data analytics in regular audit, as well as how the data analytics will be into the coming future, and what are the tools minimum we should work on. And thank you so much for the Safa president and vice president for their inaugural address. In fact, their words of wisdom when Vice President Safa was telling about data is the new oil. It is absolutely correct. And in fact, I appreciate that he also mentioned, especially the chartered accountants, how can play a very big role into this data analytics profession. Because if we really look into the chartered accountant domain, we are the people from the day one of our articles, sit with the finance guys, understand, sit before the CFOs and company heads, understand a lot of business knowledge. So if you ask me a question, who are the professionals in the entire world having the great business knowledge, are nothing but the finance domain guys. That includes chartered accountants and other peer colleagues in the other countries. When chartered accountant is having a great business knowledge, any analytical tool you take it, that is only doing to achieve your business objective. To achieve the business objective, there are n number of methodologies we have. When it comes to the data analytics, we have CRISP-DM framework, which is the standardized methodology people follow for the data mining related. In that, the first standard, the first step itself is a business understanding, because until a guy understands the business, he cannot understand what is a business objective. If he cannot understand the business objective, he cannot prepare the proper data. If he cannot prepare the proper data, he cannot analyze the data. At the end, it can be data modeling. Okay, at the time of data modeling, maybe we need a lot of tools which can convert unstructured data into the structured format where we are going to relate so many tables and so on. But if you want to reach to the last level of data modeling, before that all is the business understanding, data understanding. In the entire world, finance guys, especially the chartered accountants, are the masters in that. So keeping that in the view, I always appreciate DAB as well as the ICI at the helm of the affairs, their thought process to make all the chartered accountants or all the members of SAFA who should have good knowledge about the data and how they can use in their regular day-to-day work. Without taking much of the time, I'm jumping into my session today. That is nothing but widely used tools and techniques in the data analytics, right? So let us go ahead, understand. These all are the formal definitions. In fact, as a finance guy, as a chartered accountant, you know much better what exactly the analytics is. Let me just put in the words. Data analytics is the process of examining data sets in order to find trends and draw conclusions about the information they contain. Increasingly, data analytics is done with the aid of specialized systems and software. In fact, if you look into the first sentence, removing data analytics word, that is what exactly we are doing the audit, is it not? Audit includes the analytics, because whenever we visit a client office, we don't just look into the documents, we also understand how these documents can impact their books. We also understand while looking into their financial statement, how a particular line item in the financial statement impact their final results and so on. So this is not at all an old job or new job for a chartered accountant. This is a regular job which we are doing day in and day out. But data analytics is pure handling the data, mining the data, get inferences out of it. I still remember when I started my statutory bank audit in the initial days of my career, we used to take the print of those CBS reports that used to be into 300 to 400 pages. We used to roll on the papers one after other. Very difficult to find and complete even 5% of the sample. I'm talking about 10 years back, 12 years back. But now I don't think so. That is a situation for a chartered accountant, because ICI is conducting n number of sessions on the bank audit. What we are doing now, before we are stepping into the bank, we are asking for the relevant reports. Once they send to us, we are doing the primary analysis. Though they are sending the data, maybe into the notepad, maybe into HTML format, maybe into some other format, we will convert into the structured format. Then we will start analyzing the data. We will be prepared what questions I should be asked for once I step into the bank audit. That is what we are evolving. Now, even if a chartered accountant gets time of 2 hours, even if it is 1,000 crore advances bank, we will be in a position to get the control within those 2 hours, because I least bother about the papers, but I get the data, I do my analysis, and I can get the control of the entire bank. I will get to know what are the critical areas in which I should spend more time and resource, and what are the critical areas in which there may be a risk more, and so on. This is everything is analytics. Though we are doing it, but my session will give you an overview of the tools which are helpful for you to understand and to go back and explore, experiment, so that you can effectively use it. That is what my entire session is. And also, let me give a small disclaimer. Within just 1.5 hours or 2 hours, it is impossible for you to learn any application. Leave about Microsoft Excel or IDEA or Power BI and so on. Probably these sessions will help you to understand that there is a tool. Why can't we go and explore? This tool can do this much of work. Until unless people like me or the institute tell you about its tool, you may not first even know a tool which can help you at the difficult phase. Okay. So that is what we are talking about. Data analytics is done with the aid of specialized system and software. Now let us see how data analytics for the audit we can connect. Data analytics for audit as the science and art of discovering patterns, deviations, and inconsistencies, and extracting other useful information underlying or related to the subject matter of an audit through analysis, modeling, visualization for the purpose of planning and performing the audit. There are 3 key words which I kept in bold: analysis, modeling, visualization. Analysis is something, if I get a data, once I convert into the structured format, I will get the patterns out of it. I can do some analysis out of the data. Modeling is something. Why can't I apply the same model, the methodology what I adopted for X client? I can record it using different tools like Alteryx, 9, or even sometimes Power BI, Power Query. Why can't I use the same thing for 10 clients at a time without taking much of the time? The modeling includes, now I have taken the information from only one source of data. Why can't I compare this data with the web related information? Why can't I compare this data with other information which is I can gather from the Google and so on? The final one is the visualization. Organizations these days not much bother about the transaction data. I don't think so. The DMart or whoever running the e-commerce giants in India throughout the world, they least bother about at one particular branch, at what time the transactions, how many happened. No, they are only looking at the top level through the visualizations. Means they can just look into the trend, how each branch is performing. What is the comparison with this year versus the previous year? This quarter versus the previous quarter, this year to date versus the previous year to date, or 1 week previous this current period to the parallel period in the last month, and so on. These all can be put into a proper visualizations. Chart is a very traditional word, meaning where the traditional name nomenclature is there, and you can put the data through the Excel, you can achieve that. Whereas visualization is much beyond. That means you can create your own visualization. You need not to follow the standard through which visual you can understand the data much better. You can create on your own. That is what the Power BI, ClickView, Tableau tools provide us. You can custom your own visual. Okay, these 3 are very important in the entire data analytics domain. Let us just make a brief tools which are available. I cannot say free, but which are available where you can easily get it and start working on, maybe with some cost. I always keep Microsoft Excel on the top. The reason behind this is one beautiful tool. Every chartered accountant, every day, at least open once and close. Because Microsoft Excel is one of the world's biggest tool which help us to analyze the data at the basic format. Because whatever the ERP the organizations may be using, whatever the CBS environment the banks are using, at the end of the day, the data must flow into an application which is capable enough to summarize, to drill through, to slice the data, dice the data. That entirely the Microsoft Excel can do for us. That's the reason the life of the career of chartered accountant with Microsoft Excel is always very tight. Okay, that is one of the great tools. But if you want to go ahead with the other tools, my first suggestion, make sure you become the expert of Microsoft Excel, because at n number of places, Excel can help you a lot, can save a lot of time. Time is the money these days, can save a lot of money at the end, right? Power BI is another data analytics tool. Power BI is the Microsoft product. The best part of Power BI is the entire backend is the same ETL what the Microsoft Excel is having. Whenever I talk about the ETL, let me take what is the meaning of ETL, then I'll come back to the Power BI. This is what any data preparation job anyone can do. The meaning, if you take an example of the CBS environment data, let's say you got the bank statement. The bank statement may not be into the Excel format, what you are looking for. That may be into PDF format, that can be into the text format, that can be into some different format, directly on which you cannot summarize the data, slice and dice the data. The ETL concept is basically, you can extract, that means you can retrace and verify the data from various sources. That means you can get the data from the text file, CSV file, you can read the folder, you can even get the data from the PDF files, you can get from XML, JSON, SAP, SQL, any databases, ODBC, web, Facebook, all the sources. If you look into the Power BI can support more than 150 sources. It includes all the leading ERPs. It includes all the databases. Okay, so you can extract the data from any source. Let the data be there. Why I want to get into the format of maybe into the text or something? I can directly connect to the SAP, or I can directly connect to the Oracle, to the direct database. That is what the functionality of the extract. Once you get the data into the ETL engine, what you can do with the data, extracted data, I can transform it. The meaning, let me take an example of the bank statement. Bank statement, every page on the top, you have 7 to 10 lines of heading or whatever the prefixed content, account name, IFSC code, or page number, whatever it is. After 7th or 8th line only, you will be having a table. That is what the continuation of the previous table. Transformation is, I want to delete the unnecessary data. I will keep only the data which is relevant to me. I will extract the data. I will split the data. I will add additional columns. I can invoke some of the functions may be required, or I can do whatever the mathematical calculation I want to do. That is what the transforming the data, right? Once you transform the data, for the analysis, I should take this data back into my data repository. Yes or no? Yes. So load is L in the ETL. I can load this data back into my either Microsoft Excel or Power BI for the visualization or any other tool in which we are going to do the analysis part. Whenever I was talking about Microsoft Excel and Power BI, the backend ETL engine is same. The name is Power Query. If you are the master of Power Query, Power BI is the bonus to you, except the visualization part, because Power BI consists of 3 basic elements. Not only Power BI. I'm talking about Tableau, ClickView, Power BI. These 3 tools meant for the visualization, analysis through the visualization, analytics through the visualization. That includes charts and different infographics, right? Any of these three tools having three parts. One is the data part, because you should get the data from the source. Second one is the model part. Modeling is basically, let's say I'm doing some valuation work, or else I'm doing some forensic work, or maybe a transaction audit under the IBC. I have taken all the vendor names. Now I want to verify whether these vendors who are listed companies, and I want to know their address from where you can capture. Let's say some company is providing, some website is providing all the addresses of these vendors. That means vendors I can get from the ERP, addresses I can get from the web. Maybe if I'm using some currency rate, I should go to some other website to get the currency rate. That means to make my final output, I should link three databases. When I link these three databases, you cannot do the calculation. You cannot apply the summarization unless you relate all these three data sources together. That is what the modeling part is. Modeling is basically relating the related tables together. I can connect my sales data with order data, from the sales data to the customer data, from the sales data to the products data, from the sales data to the shipment data, so that whatever there in the transactional form, transactions facts form in the sales data, I can do the analysis in whatever these dimensions is having. That is what the meaning of modeling is. Once you get the data, transform it, then you can connect other sources, combine it, or maybe you can relate it. Then the next one which we need to do is the visualization. That visualization the Power BI can do. Okay, so I'm again telling data which does the preparation work, modeling which can relate one table to the other table, rather one source to the other source, visualization which can present the data in the format what you are looking for. I was talking about the date intelligence and time intelligence, some calculation. Now, once the data is ready, my last 5 years data, I can compare quarter to quarter, this quarter versus previous quarter versus last year quarter. Otherwise, YTD this year versus the previous year. Otherwise, this last 1 week weighted average versus the last year 1 week weighted average for the same period. That is what you can do using the Power BI, or Tableau, or ClickView. There are two more tools, IDEA and ACL. These two tools are meant for the audit tools. Let's say we are doing the great audit, certainly. And using Excel, of course, you can achieve a lot of things. But in Excel, you may need to write some of the functions or some of the formulas, or maybe you need to use some of the techniques to achieve the final, the result. But those things in the IDEA tool or ACL tool, you can just achieve by just clicking the buttons. Example, the Benford's law, which is one of the very proven law in the forensic domain. What is Benford's law? We can predict the occurrence of the digits, first digit or first 2 digits or first 3 digits or second digit and so on. Generally, it is giving best results when you are talking about the first digit. If I want to do the same thing in Microsoft Excel, I probably need to write a couple of functions. I need to write some formulas. Finally, I should compare the Benford percent versus what is actual. But when it comes to the IDEA, it does the work for you. You just click a button by selecting what column you want to analyze. It gives you a chart as well as the table, what is Benford's percentage and what is your percentage and what is the deviation. And samples, the best one in the IDEA is you can get the samples, because in Microsoft Excel, because these days when we go for the audit, the only methodology, most of the cases we use is random sampling, but which cannot, proven. You cannot take that as an evidence in court of law, or maybe sometimes when regulator asks you, because when you say random sampling, they have a weapon to ask you immediate question. Mr. Saran, I can say you've intentionally ignored a client or a particular account in the audit and you ignored in your random sampling. We don't have an answer for that. That's the reason there are different type of sample extraction in the idea tool that includes random sampling, stratified sampling, systematic sampling, and so on. However, those all we can achieve even in Microsoft Excel. You can make a small pivot table and you can group the data. Then for each grouping, you can do some parity analysis, keeping count versus count percentage, then sum versus sum percentage, so that how many accounts are contributing to the so much of portfolio, or how many vendors are contributing to the most of the amounts in the purchase side, or how many clients are contributing to my debtors. Out of 1,000 clients a company is having, the debtor balance is having, let's say 1 crore, just 4 clients data itself is 80 lakh. Is it not something fishy? Because out of even 1,000 clients, only 4 clients are contributing to the 80% of your data total. That means that is the place where I need to put my focus in my forensic or in my regular audit. Probably an idea tool can do the best thing. Okay, stratified data. You can do parity analysis and so on. ACL also. I should appreciate again our institute. You can download the idea demo version from the institute website by just searching keywords called CAT. In that demo, 1,000 line items are free. You can take the data for any 1,000 line item data and you can do whatever the analysis you are looking for. And the best part of idea tool, you know what? You can just click the insights. It automatically build a dashboard for you and leave it there. You can customize that. ACL, I don't know, the demo is not available. Probably you can get the demo from their website. Comparatively, the idea and ACL, idea is a little cheaper and ACL is a little costlier. However, both are excellent for the auditors. Okay. When it comes to the below 4, or especially next to R and Python, these all are the best data analytics tools. However, if you want to become the master, you should have some coding skills, because Python is a Python is an application, open source application. In fact, R is also open source, where you can write the code so that you can analyze the data in much better way. But if you know the Power BI, you can connect your Python code to the Power BI. You can connect even your R code to the Power BI. Okay, SAS is having coding as well as even the entrepreneur version is having drag and drop. It is almost similar to the any other data analytics tool. But my focus, I want you to give more towards the last 2. See the vision of our ICI at the helm of the affairs. NIME is growing in the market and becoming very famous. But our institute 3 years back started conducting the certification course on the NIME application. NIME and Alteryx are becoming very famous in the world when it comes to the data modeling. Whenever I talk about the modeling, that means these 2 tools are acting as an ETL tool as well as the data analytical tools. That means you can just take Alteryx, you can connect the data, you can just record all the steps using small predefined hundreds of available tools. And next time, whenever you keep the data at the input, you run the entire model, automatically your final result is ready. And Big Fours and bigger organizations in the world are using NIME and Alteryx at length and breadth. Okay, so let us now look into the important functions and features of Microsoft Excel. Data types. I don't know how many of you know about the data types. I always request the members from entire Safa members as well as Institute of Chartered Accountants of India members, please spend money for the latest tools, latest features, latest version. The reason behind is, who knows, one small feature available in the latest version can save you 5 hours of precious time at the time of last day filing. Maybe one small feature which is available in the latest version of Microsoft Excel can save you 2 days of manual work in the forensic audits. Spend time, and I'm sure, okay, investing into the latest tools is not at all a cost for you. That is an investment for you. Data types, I don't know how many of you know about it. I just want to take one example of this so that you can understand and appreciate. If you can use the latest tools, what is the advantage? Okay, so let me take an Excel. Yeah, it's already open. Yeah. This is the Microsoft Excel, right? If you go to the data, if your system is connected to the internet, you're finding an option here in the data called data types, right? Data types by default is having stocks and currencies. However, if you want, there are n number of these, may not be very much relevant, but I feel these three are very relevant for us. I'll take a small example. Let us take State Bank of India. I want to gather some information about this because it's a listed company. I want to gather some information about this. Then what I can do, can anyone tell? I can just click this. What it does, let's read from the screen tip. It converts cells with company names or ticker symbols like MSFT, Microsoft MSFT means, to get current stock information like price, exchange, and many more. Now let me click this. What it does, let's have a look. Let's have a look. It is trying to connect and showing me the right pane. Mr. Saran, I can find the State Bank of India in many stock exchanges. What stock exchange data you want to get it? Do you want to get from National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange, OTC markets? I want to get from the National Stock Exchange. See, once I connected, even whatever the informal way I have written the State Bank of India in the lowercase, it automatically corrected, given the stock name and ticker symbol along with this icon. This is a show card icon. Once you click this, a card will appear and it's going to give me the entire information about this particular company. For your information, I'm not going away from my Microsoft Excel. I'm still there. If you look here at the bottom, this is powered by the Refinitiv. Refinitiv is the company. It is a subsidiary of Reuters, if I'm not wrong. And Microsoft is having an agreement with the Refinitiv, and they are the people who are providing this information for the Microsoft Excel. For example, this is only just for viewing, is it? No, you can get and extract that information. Just put dot. Once you click dot, and it is asking you, Sharon, do you want to get 52-week high value or low value? Or do you want to get the beta for the analysis? Or do you want to know the change percentage yesterday to today? Or do you want to get the currency in which it is operating at the entity level and description, employees, exchange abbreviation, headquarters, high value, industry, instrument type, last trade time, and so on. Let me see the price of it. Wow. I want to also get the beta. Not a problem. You can just get this dot beta. Of course, I can get it. I want to know the leader, maybe the CEO. No, I want to know, is there anyone with the name called CEO or CFO? I don't think so. No, I want to calculate maybe the shares outstanding. If I can simply put the price into the states, this outstanding is nothing but my market capitalization, as simple as it, right? So this is the way. I think this is a volume, if I'm not wrong. No, it is shares outstanding. Volume is different. Let's say if I want to get this dot volume, you can get the information. How much volume it traded today in the NSE stock market? It is 1,10,65,307. The best part is not only that, I can take Bank of Baroda, right? I can just connect the same thing to the, in fact, it automatically suggests, but anyway, let's take this. Wow. Now I can simply copy this entire information, paste here. Wow. Without taking much of the time, it is getting the information from the source and which is very authentic. Probably let us just click this. There is a disclaimer, what it tells, and you may be having a question whether it supports all the stock exchanges. Of course, it does. When you use stocks data types or the stock history functions, we'll talk about this. Obtain stock prices and other company information. That information is provided by another company called Refinitiv from all these countries. These are all of the stock exchanges through which it can get the information, and there is a delay. and some of the countries where 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Let us see India, how much time. Yeah, now National Stock Exchange India, maximum 5 minutes is the delay. And some of the cases, there is no delay. It is a real-time information. If you can see here, maybe some of the cases, maybe 1 minute are real-time. Check it out, this one. Okay, these two are from the United States of America, and BZX exchange as well as NASDAQ. It's a real-time information. Once you refresh, this automatically refresh and give you the information. And the Sri Lankan stock exchange, if I'm not wrong, all the stock exchanges in the world, you can get the information. Is it not something a very quick way of analyzing my data? Not only that, let's say I want to know quickly INR by USD, what is the currency rate? I'm doing some audit where the information is required for almost last 2 years or last 1 year. Not a problem. From today I want to take, or else today minus 400 days, and I want to take till today. This is from date and to date. Now what I wanted to do, have a look guys, I can simply go here. There is a beautiful function called stock history. Select the stock, what you are looking for. This is what the stock I am looking for. What is the start date? This is what my start date. What is the end date? This is what my end date, close bracket. Do you think I'll get my information? Of course, because I have taken INR by USD, you got 0.0 some decimal. I think to make it more clear, let's put USD by INR so that you can compare much better. Check it out. This is what the closing value. I'm talking about September to 2021 within fraction of seconds. It has given me the information, and this concept we call it as a dynamic array. Though I have written the formula at single cell, it expanded automatically to the other cells, and within fraction of seconds, it has given me the information. For example, I want to go back not just 1 year, 720 days. Oh, check it out, for almost like 517, because if you remove the weekends, okay, it is almost like 517 days. It has given the information. Now I can simply put, maybe let me go back some 1500 days. Don't surprise, it's going to give you the information. Now, if I really wanted to do some analysis, I can just go to the here, maybe any chart is fine, just to understand how our currency is strengthening and weakening. This is the way it is growing. Maybe if I can go to the little more further, okay, I can even get the information with respect to forecast, how to do the forecast of this data. In fact, our past president Jammu Saria sir, when he was talking about his inaugural speech, in his opening remarks, he was talking about the forecasting the data. Forecast is possible with the little forecast with the statistics in Microsoft Excel. Ideally, you will find an option here, the forecast. Now, what I can do, I can just go here, click this, right? This is the way you can forecast the data. Now, what I can do, I can just create, let me click OK, so that it's going to give you a small chart, understanding how in the coming years, it may go further. Okay, this is the upper band, this is the lower band. Based on the confidence level, I have taken 90% confidence level. If you want, you can just go here. Maybe you can just change the confidence level percentage. 95 is by default. Maybe if you want, you can change it. Otherwise, maybe I can say forecast end is by default. It has taken for 1 year from today. Maybe if you want, you can take for next 2 years and so on. Automatically, it has written a statistical formula here, considering the formula of the forecast.ets. It does some statistical analysis. So this is what the forecast closure, and this is what the lower confidence, this is what the upper confidence, and how it is giving you the information. Of course, this is possible in Power BI using the visualization tools. This is the way. I did not, in fact, written the great formulas or coding or functions. I just written a small formula called stock history, through which I made a small chart. Then immediately I understood that I can also analyze the data. Then I just went into the data, and there is a forecast sheet, and I got this information, as simple as it. For which, what is really something which you need? You need the latest version. You should have a weapon. The weapon these days is nothing but the tool. If you have the right tools, at the right time, at the right place, I'm sure you can do the great audit. That is what probably I can say to you. Now, let us look how probably other things can help you out. I just disconnected here, data types. Analyze is something, it does some analysis. You can just go here and there is an option called analyze. If you have any real information, you just click this data. What it does, discover more about your data, analyze data, looks for patterns in your data that it can use to create intelligent, personalized suggestions. In fact, this data, it may not find out much because there are no great outliers because it's a stock exchange data. But whenever you just click that, it automatically given you some charts for a quick analysis. For example, I want to maybe get this as a pivot table. I can simply get this and automatically one pivot table appeared. Maybe if I want to have this particular chart, scatter chart, of course, it has given you the information how it is growing. Let's say if I go on, if I want a line chart, sorry, bar chart, this is the way the bar chart is appearing. I can simply drag it down so that this can come one below other. If you observe, did I made any bar chart here for my information? No, I have done it by using a simple tool called analysis, right? Let's go here to the analysis more. Okay, so it's still trying to do the analysis. This is okay. This is okay. This is what the line chart. In fact, I already had it. Not only this, the beautiful part of these days in any data analytics tool is it understands the natural language. That means it is a self-service business intelligence. Power BI, if you say there's a question and answer session where you can go ask the question, type it, or you can give a sound, it automatically writes a question for you, it gets the relevant data. The suggested question, how many different close are there? Insights for close. Whenever you put insights for close, there is a lot of information it's going to give. Maybe I can take it, close as on, I can say 4th January 2018. Don't know whether it can understand this language. Let us try. Okay. No, maybe let me try. Okay, so insights for how many different closures, highest value of close. Okay, I can just put maybe highest value. It has to ideally give based because my data only having 2 columns. Maybe that's the reason it is not understanding automatically. Otherwise, it give a lot of questions. Whenever I put highest, then it automatically understand highest value of close. Maybe if I can take it, it's going to work. If I'm not wrong, check it out. On this day, there is a highest. In fact, that is nothing but the yesterday 82.06. When I just put this as the lowest, so there is no surprise. The lowest is nothing but the oldest date. Check it out. It is 10th July 2019. Not only this, you can take any currency. I can just take USD by GBP. Wow. Check it out. This is what USD by GBP. You can take any currency for that matter. Now, automatically the forecast, right? The charts, everything got changed towards that. That is you can simply right click and maybe you can refresh. That information will flow here. Maybe I can take a GBP by euro. Check it out. It does work for you. Wonderful. Check it out. There is a lot of up and down. If you look into this, maybe right click. Yeah, it automatically made it. This is the way it is. Just no, I think this did not change. Maybe I can simply right click and refresh. No, it has taken at that point of time. Maybe if I can give a link to this to this data, then automatically this also will get changed. Okay, so this is what we are talking about, self-service business intelligence. Maybe you can ask a couple of questions. That's what I'm talking about here, the analyze. Of course, the pivot table. I'm not going much deeper about the pivot table, but if you can understand, pivot table does have many functionalities and features. Just to give you one small example of pivot table, maybe I can take the same data. Let's take the data of this. Maybe I can make a small pivot table out of this data. I can simply take this pivot table. Let's go to the data. Sorry, let's go to the insert, click pivot table. The best part of pivot table is you can do the slicing and dicing. Now I can just keep it here. I can just make it a close. Now what I wanted to see, I just want to ungroup it. I want to right click and group the data. I want to just quarter wise, year wise analysis. I just wanted to do. I want to keep the years here, or else keep the years and keep the quarters here. Okay, this is what the total it has taken. There is no meaning for the total because it is what the currency. I want to summarize values by max, and I want to summarize values. Maybe I also want to take another close here. I want to summarize second one as the min, so that I can compare in that particular quarter how the maximum value and how the minimum value got changed. Now let me take it as a min, right? So maybe if I go back, because we are a little familiar with the Indian currency, USD by INR, I can just go here and let me go to my pivot table, right? So not this one, yeah, this one, right click and refresh. And this is the way I can just understand how my data is changing. Let me make it as a max. Let me make it as a min, so that everywhere it gets changed. And I'm just doing the analysis. I don't want maybe the grand totals, make it off. Then this is the way you can just start analyzing. Maybe you can just, instead of this, if you want maybe the percentage, then you can also quickly calculate the percentage. How you can do that? I can simply remove all this. Maybe I can just keep my date here. I can keep my close here. I don't want anything. Let me ungroup. Then, for example, if I want to take the percentage to the previous, you can just take the same value. Then you can have the percentage with the previous and so on. But anyway, this is not much relevant. You can do that. Okay. So the very important part, which I like the most, is the grouping part. You can do the grouping. You can do the grouping for the numbers. You can do even grouping for the text. You can also even do the grouping for the dates, right? And another part, see, analytics is analytics all the time. You can use in the finance, you can use in other domains, that can be HR, marketing, wherever you want. I do some political analysis without taking much of the politics here. I'm not taking any political, but I'm just trying to tell you how data analytics can help you. Wherever data is there, your data analytics can help you. I'll just take a small case. How much time it saves if you learn the tools. I'm talking about 4 or 5 years back, when there was a heat politics was happening, assembly elections at Andhra Pradesh. I do political data analysis for one of the political party. I went to their office, and one staff were keep on inserting the sheets. Okay, he has taken a new Excel file. He is keep on inserting the sheet. Shift F11, Shift F11, Shift F11, and so on. I just asked him a question. What you are doing? He said, sir, boss said, he asked me to keep 175 sheets, and each sheet name must be the constituency name. Okay, so that every blank sheet is there, 175 sheets, sheet name is a constituency name. He's going to keep some budget data, some information in all those sheets. Then I asked him, what you are doing then? He said, I am keep on inserting the sheets. Once I insert the sheet, I have a master data. Then I'll take each and every constituency name. I will double click the sheet name. I will paste here. Then I said, just give me your system 1 minute to me. Check it out. This is a business objective. There is a problem. How we can achieve this problem with the data, what is available with us? Let me go here. Maybe I'm just talking about Andhra Pradesh assembly constituencies. I'm sure you'll find a lot of information in the Google. Let me go into the Google. Okay, I'm sure it will take you to the Wikipedia. Not a problem. Okay, somewhere some master data must be there. Now what I'll be doing from here, from here, I would like to copy this information. This part is nothing but extract part. Okay, Control C. Now I can go back here, paste special values. Paste special. You can just select text so that unformatted. I don't want anything except this name, right? So I can maybe go to the end. Let me select and apply the filters. What I have done, I just selected here. Other than the numbers, if anything is there, it got selected. I have got selected. Now what I have done here, I just selected everything greater than 0. I can just went here. Let me select here greater than 0. Wow. This is the information I am looking for. Now Control C. If you go here, Control V, this is what your information is. Serial number, constituency name. Just taking a small demonstration so that members can understand. Okay, what is my business objective here? I want to create each sheet with each name. Now, let me also remove the blanks. I don't want blank. Now, let me go here, remove the blank. I don't want this. Control minus. Now, probably if you can sort this data so that you can see there are 175 constituencies. 175. Wonderful. Okay. Now, what I'll be doing, I will simply maybe one constituency somewhere got missed. It's okay. Now, what we can do, I can simply make, everyone please concentrate. If you know a tool, how much time it can save for you. Let me go to the insert, click the pivot table, select this. Wow, my pivot table is get ready. In fact, there's only one, there are two items are here. Let me take the constituency name. Let me put in the filter label. I kept in the filter label. Now there is a beautiful option. Do you know that? Pivot table analyze, options, show report filter pages. Once I click this, what is the meaning of this? What is the name of this? It is going to create, each page for each item in the report filter. If I can just click OK, oh my God, every item in the filter label, it is going to create one page. In Microsoft Excel, page is nothing but a sheet. Not only just creating a sheet, it is going to rename the sheet with the item in the filter label, right? Now, if you can see here, there are 175 sheets got created. Now, my job is very simple. This is not required for me. Now, what I can do is then immediately said, Sharon, I don't want this information in any of the sheet. I just want the blank sheet. Of course, we can do. If I can do this much work, can't you think I can do that? Of course, I can do. Right click, select all sheets, then just simply Control X, Control V. Now, this blank information I pasted here because I selected all the sheets. This information from all the sheets pasted here in all the sheets. Deselect. Of course, all 175 sheets got created within less than 2 minutes time. This is the power of having understanding, knowing about a tool. If you know the tool, maybe you may not understand right now because I went a little faster. But if you think this can connect your work, you can go back to your home and you can open it. You can get the sample data. You can explore it. Once you start exploring, once your mind started triggering to explore, then you need not to look back and you can learn any application in this world. It is only about getting the interest of knowing the application. Start exploring it. Start experiencing it. I'm sure you will be the best person effectively using it. Okay, this is one quick sample I thought I can take from the pivot table. As I said, every item in the Microsoft Excel is a one story. There are n number of functions. Let function. Earlier we used to write half-kilometer formulas nested within nested of another nested and so on. But now your let function can make your entire work, entire formula into smaller. I recently made small experiment when I was taking one session to the participants in one of the paid course, and I have taken a small challenge. I have given a small challenge. I made one assignment. I asked them, what is the best way to write the formula? Writing a formula is not about writing half-kilometer formula. It's not about getting an answer. Getting an answer, the same problem, I can get it in 10 different ways. But what is the best way, the formula, what you are writing in Microsoft Excel, that should be easy to understand, crisp, clear, short, and finally it should give the accurate result. Let function does the work, because let support a concept called variables within the function. H stack, V stack, unique, filter, stock history. In fact, I've covered. I request you go back and explore all these items. In fact, I've covered about ETL concept. In fact, before even Microsoft Excel topic, in Microsoft Excel or in the Power BI, ETL is nothing but the Power Query. Power Query, from where is Power Query? I'm not finding anywhere the Power Query. If you are using the latest version, there is a feature called get and transform data in the data tab. Okay, you can get the data from workbook, text file, XML, JSON, PDF. You can even read your folder. I'll tell you one case study where one client appreciated. He was doing a huge bank audit, a huge forensic audit. When he was doing a forensic audit, the regulator has given the data to the person, to the auditor. That is almost like, 500 GB data. He doesn't even know where to start the work. The regulator told to this auditor, my friend, you should give me some analysis looking into this data within 2 days. For the normal person, opening 500 GB worth of files itself will take more than 10 days if you want to open every file, understand, close it, and so on. But for your information, forensic audit is not, it is about more where to start. If you understand where to start, that will give you a path towards the audit. But where to start is a critical question. Maybe out of 500 GB data, 498 GB is a useless data, may not be relevant to me. But how you can identify unless you open the file, for which there are n number of, the ways of understanding. What I have done, then I got that as an other sub outsource, or maybe some help I have taken, I've given to that regulator. Then there is an option here, right? You can read the folder. I told you in the ETL, E is a extract. You can extract the data from any source. Just for your information, let me select this folder. Let me just cancel. Let me take the same thing in the new Excel file. Control+N. Let's go to the data, get the data from the folder. Now I want to take, in fact, I went into my one of the friends' place to take the session. I don't want to take anything. Let me just take the desktop just for the time being. Okay. I just want to see what type of data is there. Otherwise, maybe I want to take the downloads. Okay. Because this is something I should not look into this data much. Let's take the downloads so that we can analyze what is there in the downloads without even seeing the contents, what is there inside. Let me go there. Okay. There's a lot of information. Once you click transform in the ETL, first job is over. You extracted. The second job is required. You should transform it. Let me click it. Then whatever the new window which will get open is the Power Query window. This is the place where you does the job of transformation. The best part of Microsoft tools are, if you learn this ETL, the same window you can even find in the Power Query. 50% of Power BI is the Power Query, right? The same features, functionality, everything is there. Not a problem. Binary is something where you can find the file, name of the file, what is an extension, and then date accessed, date modified. See, check it out. If you look into the folder, of course, this can act as, even if you look into the folder, you can only find the date modified. But if you look into this gives you what is the date accessed, date modified. The most important thing in the audits is date created. Is this guy created a file just a week back and showing it to me that which has created 1 year back, or really is it so? Then I can get the information from here. Then what is a folder path? Okay, folder path help you to understand the key folders. Okay, not only this, do you know that your folder or a file is having at the back end so many attributes may be relevant for us sometimes. I can take content type, kind, size, whether it's a read-only file or not, whether it's any hidden file or not, Very important for the forensic auditor. Is it a system generated file? Is it a directory belongs to file? Is it an archive file, device related, normal? N number of parameters are there. In fact, I'm not looking and bothered about this. I just want only content type, kind, size. That's all. Let me click OK, so that those extra fields will get added, expanded. Now, extract part is over. Transform part is also over. If you want, even you can just divide these into subfolders by just splitting, just go here, split here based on a delimiter with a backward slash, then automatically, okay, it is a to open. I think it's taking a little time. Yeah, it is automatically identified backward slash. Once I click it, then automatically this will get open to the next folders and so on, right? These are all of the transformation steps it is doing. If you see right side, I've taken the source, I expanded some of the attributes. Maybe I can just use it and I can do other transformations. E is over, T is over. What is the load? Now this data, I want to take it back into my Excel to apply some filters, to do some analysis on the data creation and so on. Now I can load. This is what the part I'm talking about. You need not to get the data directly into the Excel because this is a very small data you can get into Excel. Maybe later, whenever I'm taking a sales file of one of the MNC that may be more than 20 lakh records, 2 million records, your Excel is not sufficient. One sheet is not sufficient to paste all the data. Otherwise, maybe I'm just trying to download the fixed asset register of a telecom company. I still remember long back, 7 years back, there is a company called Indus Towers. When we download the fixed asset register, one sheet is not sufficient. 3 sheets has to be there because the fixed assets are more than 3 million. If that is the case, I don't want to look into the transaction data, but I can directly take this data into the pivot table report. Or if I want to analyze, I can take into the pivot table chart. Or if I want to connection, I can just use it as a connection so that next another table I can take it. I can relate these two tables into the data model, right? In this case, let me take it as a table, click OK. Wow, the entire information got pasted. I'm talking about a case study where I got the 500 GB data, the entire data, how we started looking what files are important. Now, let us see, as I said, I'm not sure whether I can see this, but okay, he's my friend, I think by default approval. Let us look into there are so many formats. Let us see what are the relevant formats and what is the use of the format. There's so many movies, it seems. I think he's having. Yeah, okay. Now, let me go to the end. Let me see how many Excel files are there. These are all of the Excel files. Then let me see, is there any keyword called personal? This one very important. Personal, adjustments, private. These are all of the words people keep it. Okay, while they are creating the file, that means there is something fishy and so on. Then I want to know date of created. In fact, looking into this, I can make, in fact, today we learned about slicing of the data. I can just go into my pivot table and I can just click OK. I wanted to know date of created and I want to take the name of the file. Now let me right click and I want to ungroup. Let me right click and I want to group. I want to group year, quarter, month wise. Now I want to take the quarters here. Then, sorry, let me give the quarters here. Let me take the years here. Check it out. How many files got created at what period? Very important. Maybe analysis is this. If I am doing some work or at my office itself, what I can do, I can have this type of pivot table. Every time a folder, I can link this to my master folder, cloud. I can just come back. Now you can see, what is the total here? 2855, right? I can go back to my downloads. Let me create another file, sample for Safa. Okay. Now one more file got added. Come back here, right click. What is the total? 2855. Keep in mind, refresh. It didn't get changed because this did not get changed. Refresh. Once I click refresh, it is extracting from the same source and it is doing all the transformation steps. It loaded the data back. And if you come back here, refresh this 2855, change it to 2856. Just for your information, let me search for Safa. Of course, it is there. Check it out. There is a file. When it got created just now, modified this one. Now, for example, if I just open the same file, if I open the same file, sample for data, 7:22 time now, right? So this is 7:21, right? Now I'm just keeping some blank information. Can save it, close it. Now just come back here, refresh, look the time here. What is the time? It is 7:22. What is the date created? 7:21. Wow, refresh. Automatically that will come here. This is the way. As again, I'm coming back to the same opening remarks given by our, Nanda sir and other eminent speakers who has given their opening remarks. Data is the new oil. Because, in fact, from this just downloads, do you think this much very valid information can be gathered? Of course. That is using the tools. There are n number of tools. Again, I'm telling the same point. Until unless you explore, you experiment, you cannot use it. All my sessions are, Nikul Shah session, SAR session, and other people's session. On screen looks everything great. You will definitely say, wow, this is working very nice. If you practice the same thing tomorrow directly, let's say if you practice, maybe 70 to 80% you will get the correct thing, whatever I am doing. If you think you are busy because of, the festival holidays till the weekend, if you start working on this on Monday, there is only 60% chance you will get the correct answers. If you think I'm very much busy with MCA, filings and everything, I will do after my October. My suggestions, better don't do that. Because by that time, everything will evaporate. But don't learn, understand what I'm talking. Learning within a day, within 1 hour, impossible. Understand, ask your brain start working. Understand how tools can save the time in your day-to-day work. Again, same point I'm reiterating, time is the money. If a right tool, right feature, right functionality at the right time to your staff, that is the weapon through which you can achieve a lot. My dear friends, I'm not taking much time. I'm just going to close in next 1 or 2 minutes. Before just closing, let me just go through this one. The very important part of IDEA tool or ACL tool is it is having a functionality for the gap detection, sampling, Benford's law, and so on. The best part of the sampling in the IDEA tool is traditional way of doing a sampling is the random sampling. At present, the idea is having people are going ahead with the systematic sampling, stratified sampling, scientific sampling. Example of random sampling is this. There is no pattern. I have taken very randomly. Stratified sampling is this. I made sure that out of every stratification, maybe out of a small population, I want to take 20 samples, higher population, 30 samples, very higher population, 40 samples, and so on. Systematic sampling is there is a way, let's say there are 1,000 records. First 50 records, I make sure that 1 sample is required. Next 50 records, I make sure that 1 sample is required. Then next 50 records, I make sure that 1 sample is required. Again, what type of sampling at what point is required? And what is the percentage of sampling? So I don't want to use my entire audit, the stratified sampling. I'll take some samples stratified, some from the systematic, some from the random. What is a scientific way of doing a sampling? Scientific way is basically your experience. I'll just take a small example, then I'll close of this sampling concept. For example, we all do the bank audit. In the LFR, there is a point. In what are the instances where the sanctioned interest rate, whether properly fed into the system or not, if not, comment. I don't know how many of you and what is the way of doing the analysis of this. What is the question? Whether sanctioned letter interest rate properly fed into the system or not. On the sanction letter, it can be 10%. Maybe to give a favor to the customer in the bank, he may enter 6%. Since he entered 6%, the same interest will be calculated. How I take and the sample out of this is using a scientific methodology. I'll make a pivot table of my entire advances. I will take the product in the row label, because product is a housing loan. or in a housing loan, 10 different products are there. I want to take each separate. Then I want to take what is the total outstanding of that particular product. Then I want to take how many total number of accounts are there for each product. Then I will take the interest rate. When I take the interest rate, by default, it's sum. Summing the interest doesn't have any meaning. I will take max of that particular product. What is the interest? Today, in fact, we have taken the max and min. I will again take one more column. What is the minimum rate? That means for a particular product, maximum and minimum rate, for one customer, maximum rate is there 10.5. For other customer, minimum rate is there 4%. Not justifiable, because for the same product, maximum 1-2% gap will be there because of CIBIL, because of more loans, because of the the rating of the customer and so on. But for one customer, it is 5%. The other customer, it is 17% or 12%. Is something fishy. I need to look here. So that means I'll simply put a spread. Is nothing but max minus min. I will filter out 2.5% or 2% below. Only above 2% I'll take it. Then based on the number of accounts, I will take the samples. Then I'll give this list of samples to my staff, ask them to get the sanction letter, verify in the CBS whether correct or not. Sometimes it can be possible. Okay, some other person having some subsidy, so he may be having 4%, some other person is having 12%, but apparently it is not correct. We should do the audit and understand whether the lower interest is correct or wrong. Again, while taking the sample there, I should not always keep top interest rate customers, but bottom interest rate customers. Because if really the branch manager want to do some favor to the customer, he will not make it higher, but he will reduce it. Right? So that is the way the sampling can help you out. Right? So data visualization, these all are the, some screens. This is a way we can visualize the data. We can keep the cards, we can keep different visuals. And let me tell you, your Power BI is having a functionality called smart narrative, meaning I need not to write the paragraphs and paragraphs to understand how my data is fluctuating and what are the key inferences out of my data. Maybe whenever I right click and just explore or summarize, it does the work for me, right? So there is a great tool. There are many tools which can help you like that. 9 tool is exactly, this is the way we get the data, we get the input, then we use so many available tools, and finally we'll reach the output. Next time, whenever I change the input source, whenever I just click the final output, automatically my final data is ready. This can be, see, this is almost same for Alteryx and 9. Okay, so you can take other items. Anyway, since the time is very limited of 1 hour or 1.5 hours, I did not go much bottom, much micro level. However, as I said, this session is for you to understand, not for learning. Understand, you should go yourself, start exploring and learn. Thank you so much. With this, I think the second speaker is waiting. Okay, with this, I'm closing my session. Probably we can take some 2-3 minutes question and answer if host can permit.
Thank you so much, Saran sir. It was indeed a very informative session covering all the analyzing various tools for data analysis and giving description of functions, costing and utility for auditors and analysts. Sir, we have a few questions which have been forwarded. And the first question is from Gwalior, and it talks about the LFAR for the bank audits. So should I just read out that question for you?
Yes, go ahead.
The question is how to use the data analytics and artificial intelligence for fully and properly filling up and answering all the questions point by point in the LFR, in the statutory audit of banks, in electronic or manual or semi-manual or semi-electronic mode. Could you please kindly elaborate on this?
Yeah.
If there are any data analytic or AI techniques for answering all the questions in the LFAR correctly and accurately into the proper format.
Yeah. If AI does the entire job of filling LFAR, we should leave our stat audits because they can adopt the AI and the AI can do everything. But let me tell you, out of LFR, 30 to 40% of the questions are getting the data, analyzing it, commenting over there. And remaining 50 to 60% of the question is based on your analysis, especially when it comes to advances. I'm talking about LFR 5 point. In that, the first part is entirely listing out all the quick mortality accounts. Quick mortality accounts where analysis is not at all, our experience is not at all required. You can make a small data model. You can automate a task of filtering the data of NPA date versus sanction date, which is less than 12 months. Then automatically that can give you the final result. You can automate that and automatically that can come. Maybe you can use a Power Query, which does the work. Next time, whenever you put the file into that folder, once you refresh for this year, also the quick mortality accounts will come. And just now I was talking about interest rate, whether a system properly fed into the system or not. This also can be automated till the getting samples, because getting the samples is very important, because the question itself is whether the sanction letter interest rate properly fed into the system or not. That means something physical I need to compare with the system. But to check it out, which accounts I should look into out of 1500 accounts, that can be automated. Maybe I can just do some data modeling, and probably I can write some schema of how to make a pivot table. I can write a small macro code that does the work till getting the samples from each stratification or each product wise. So probably if we can list down each and every question, and one more question is there, did you find any divergent trends in the profit and loss account of the bank branch? This is 50% automated, you can do that, and 50% is analysis with our experience we should do. That means maybe if I can take 4 quarters P&L one after other, if I can put into a proper line chart, maybe for a particular account like suspense, they always ask about suspense, whether was there any closing balance. Who knows, maybe on 30th morning, they made it 0 by just transferring to some other account. On next day, they will come take it back. So I should take every month P&L. Then you can compare by using the different tools and techniques, what I am talking about. Then you can understand why this particular line item, instead of just growing, coming down and growing up. Is there anything in between in the year is going back from this account and coming back, especially for the dormant accounts, especially for the saving banks, closing balances of the saving banks. Generally, closing balance maximum 10 lakh is okay, but one particular saving bank, 30 crore is coming and 30 crore is going out. It is something fishy. So it is, analytics is always about, on the paper first, we should be clear, what is my business objective? And for particular data, what type of questions I should ask for. Finally, coming to the same question, 50% can be automated, of course, possible. For 50 to 60%, it is with our experience, we should analyze and comment it. Yeah, if 100% we can do it, then this question will not be there at all in the coming sessions, because banks can do their work. Yes, Ashmita.
There's another question. What is the best ETL tool it's from Guntur. What is the best ETL tool to extract NSE screener table data, example, dividend paying stocks list, where I am not able to establish connection with Power Query because the HTML does not contain table data?
Yeah. Any ETL these days, you should have because ETL having its own functionality at the backend. If you ask me, if you learn the Power Query, the advantage, as I said, Power Query is the backend for the Excel, Power Query is the ETL engine for the Power BI, Power Query is the ETL engine for the data flows. Okay, so once you learn about Power Query, Excel, data flows, as well as Power BI, you can become master. And when it comes to the table extracting, not only the web related information, even the PDF information, you can get it. Just because I said PDF, don't scan a document and try to import, because that should identify the PDF schema into the tabular form. If that is there in the tabular form, it can capture. In the HTML, if something it cannot identify on its own in the tabular form, then we should inspect the code. We should see how at the backend that tabular form arranged. Then I should do little adjustment to my M formula, which we talk about. Then certainly we can get it. And the best ETL tool we cannot, because every ETL tool having its own advantages and disadvantages. Since we are the finance people, Excel is very much available. Power Query is desktop is free for all of us. Then Power Query you can explore. And when it comes to the modeling tools, Alteryx and NIME having its own inbuilt great concept of ETL. Yeah.
So there's a question from Chennai asking about the version of Microsoft Excel that you had been using.
I am
really?
using the Office 365 monthly subscription. So when you the difference between version versus Office 365 is, if you take version 2022, that's a perpetual license. As long as your computer is there, you can use it. But future updates, you will not get it. But I request members to go to the regular updates. If you want to get the regular updates, Office 365, because it's a monthly subscription. Yearly, once we pay it, whenever there is a change, we can get it.
And there was a question from Tadepalli Guddem. I think I'm not able to pronounce the place properly. How to get more data types in my Excel? It is showing stocks and job.
Yeah, basically what Microsoft does, not only Microsoft, any organization does, they release the feature in a phased wise. Okay, if in the first phase they release to the beta people, whoever do a lot of research on the data and give the feedback for them. Once the feature gets stabilized, then they release for the monthly subscription, then they'll go for the current users. That means the general public. It will take little time, but certainly that will come to every computer, whoever using Office 365.
Okay, so that's all. All the queries have been answered well. Thank you so much, Saran sir, for being with us.
Pleasure.
And
thank you so much for the opportunity. Thanks to Dab as well as Safa and Ashima ma'am. Thank you for your patient, asking the questions and transforming it and making sure that that gets answered.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much. I also take this opportunity to introduce our second guest speaker, our eminent speaker, CA Nikunj Shah. We are very lucky to have CA Nikunj Shah, who has proved that accomplishments can be achieved at any age. A practicing chartered accountant since 2 decades, CA Nikunj Shah is a co-opted member of the Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of ICI. He is also serving as a co-convener of the Technology Initiatives Committee of Bombay Chartered Accountants Society, BCAS. Academically brilliant, Sir is a certified internal auditor, a credential by the Institute of Internal Auditors, USA. He is also the associate member of Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, ACFE USA. I request Sir to proceed with his deliberation on the topic of discussion for today, data analytics, how a professional accountant can partner in business growth and opportunities. Over to you, sir.
Okay. At the outset, I am happy to express my deep and sincere gratitude to ICI in general and DAAB in particular for having me here, for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts with the participants on the opportunities in data analytics for chartered accountants. Before I go any further, I must express my hearty thanks to my dear friend Saran Kumar for helping me at the nth hour. It was only at around 5:47 that I called him up, requesting him that I've got stuck somewhere in commute and I may be able to reach only at 6:15, 6:30. He obliged by taking the first session and ensuring that I reach well in time. Friday evening, I reached home safely for the session, for the second session. Saran Kumar, pranam svikar kare.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure, very good friend. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Here we are. My thanks to Ashima ji also for kind words of introduction, and she in very kind words read out most of the things from the profile that I only shared with her. But at the same time, Ashimaji, I must express a little anguish also, a little displeasure also, because she missed out to mention a few important points, one of which is very, very important. She forgot to tell this audience that I was also the captain of my Kabaddi team in class 7, and this may please be noted. Thank you. Thank you. I need to, Ashimaji, I'll need a little support in the beginning. First of all, whether a little feedback, first of all, whether I'm audible and visible.
Yes, sir. Yes,
both
sir.
without
Yes.
any problem.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for your inputs, for your feedback. The second thing is I need to share my screen. I've logged in from 2 devices, clicking the same link. So I will share the screen and just a second.
So you have to tap on more at the base of your Zoom link.
Okay, I just realized this. Right.
And
right.
this is the 6th option, share screen.
Just a second. Huh? Tab on more. I may take a moment, just a second. Share screen, share screen. I found it. Yes. I believe now my screen is visible.
Yes, sir, screen is visible.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So I would say that if data is the new oil, then without doubt, data analytics is the new refinery. I'm sure the first sentence itself is undisputed, and Saranji would further vouch for it. He will stand testimony also for this fact that data is the new oil. Data is the new oil. And if data is the new oil, then without doubt, data analytics is the new refinery. Friends, let's start for the day. Let's have a very quick glance at what the agenda is. The importance of data. I would like to share a personal experience with you, which enlightened me about the importance of data. How big is the world of data? How big? Today's world of data is so large, but how large? How huge? How enormous? Let us have a look. The data management value change, and from the third point onwards, I will try to dip the toes in the waters of technical world of the data analysis, where we look at the data management value chain and the components thereof. Who are the data warriors? Data engineers, data controllers, analysts, and data scientists. These terms are used several times loosely, interchangeably, and at times incorrectly as well. So let us understand threadbare. Are data engineers different from data controllers? Are they different from data scientists? And who are data analysts? Trending terms in the world of data. Sir, data science, data technology, big data, data programming, artificial intelligence. What is all this? Let us have a look at these trending terms. What are challenges for chartered accountants? How do we navigate them? And I wouldn't like to end this session without the acknowledgements due. The acknowledgements to those people, to those resources from where I have borrowed thoughts, from where I have had an opportunity to learn. Friends, if we have time and Madam permits, then we'll have a few question answers as well. I must express my gratitude to all these participants over here. Madam, how many participants are there? Just out of sincere curiosity, I would like to know how many participants are there.
So they have joined through another link. I'll just get back to you with the analytics.
No problem. No problem. So I would like to thank every single participant for this time that they are committing to this session on a late Friday evening. So, friends, a few years back, and now about, I tell you, 8 to 10 years back, we were at Bangalore. We, as in a group of chartered accountants, were at Bangalore. And while we were at Bangalore, we got an opportunity to meet and interact with Mr. Murthy. Mr. Narayan Murthy needs no introduction, at least in this country. In our interaction, Mr. Murthy shared a very interesting aspect about Infosys. He said that at Infosys, we live by the saying, in God we trust, everybody else brings data to the table. I repeat what Mr. Murthy told us during that interaction. He said that at Infosys, we literally live by the saying, in God we trust. Everybody else brings data to the table. What is it that the governance at Infosys is communicating to the governance at Infosys is telling, is very clearly communicating this to the senior most management, to the middle level management, and even to the employees, that anybody and everybody who enters this boardroom and who believes that they have a point to make, if you believe that your methods can help us earn a larger market share, a fatter bottom line, reduce costs, then you know what? Support your contention with data. If you don't do that, then sorry, we are not going to believe you, unless, of course, you are God. In God we trust. Everybody else brings data to the table. Friends, that interaction left some impact on my mind. That evening, when we retired to the hotel room, I was reflecting that in this saying, in this very popular saying, of course, I'm happy to share with you that this popular saying is originally attributed to Mr. W. Edwards Deming. W. Edwards Deming is an American statistician, professor, author, lecturer, and consultant who is credited to build back the entire Japanese industry after the devastation in the Second World War. After Japanese industry was completely devastated in the Second World War, Mr. Deming, who moved from US to Japan, dedicated his entire life. You do a little Google today, and Google in the very first link on Edwards Deming will take you to his Wikipedia page. A very inspirational read for Friday evening is his life and how he contributed to raising the Japanese industry, rebuilding the Japanese industry from scratch after the devastation in Second World War is written there. Oh, Ashimaji just shares with me that there are around 400 participants at present at this moment. My very sincere regards and respect to all of you for allocating this time on a late Friday evening for this talk. So this life of Mr. Deming is very, very inspirational. I would strongly recommend participants to do a little Google and get on to the Wikipedia page, of course, after this session. That interaction with Mr. Narayan Murthy left an impact on my mind. That evening when I retired back to the hotel room and I was reflecting over that interaction, the point that really intrigued me was when Mr. Murthy said that in God we trust, everybody else brings data to the table. Was he only giving a message to his C-suite executives, to his board, to his employees, to the business community at large? I think no. Because the message is to a much larger audience, which also includes the chartered accountancy profession, and in that, the audit fraternity in particular. I believe in God we trust, everybody else brings data to the table, has a very, very strong message. It resonates with the chartered accountancy profession in general and the audit fraternity in particular. As chartered accountants and auditors, if there is one single word around which the life of an auditor revolves, then that term, that word is indeed internal controls. At the same time, we are aware, we know this, that internal controls is not the baby of auditors, it is the baby of management. Management is responsible to design and implement a system of internal controls that is commensurate with the size and nature of the business, is what the first page of our audit report clearly says. At the same time, it also gives out with equal clarity our responsibility as audit professionals. It says that as auditors, our responsibility is to independently evaluate this system of internal control and give our opinion thereon. Independently evaluating the system of internal controls makes our life revolve around internal controls. Friends, the next sentence that I'm going to say is going to form the bedrock of the time that we are going to spend further. And that statement is that data in the databases of the business is the litmus test of whether the controls that the management says have been implemented have actually been implemented. And if they have been implemented, whether they are in operation throughout the audit period. When we are required to evaluate the system of internal controls, we are required to evaluate it on three aspects. Number one, whether the system is adequately designed. Number two, whether the same is implemented. And number three, if it is implemented, whether it is in operation throughout the audit period. As I said, sir, how do we really know whether this system of internal controls is adequately designed? Whether it is implemented and whether it is in operation throughout the audit period, one way to know this is by analyzing the data in the database of the businesses. Sir, can you give an example to support this? Of course. Friends, I read somewhere that example is not the best way to understand things. Example is not the best way to understand things. Example is the only way to understand things. Right. My problem is I just don't understand anything without examples. Do you have the same problem? If yes, then our problems are common, right? Let me share with you an example to understand why am I saying that the data in the database is the litmus test of whether the controls that the management says have been implemented and operational throughout the audit period. You enter a bank branch for concurrent audit, and a fairly simple checklist based audit has one of the areas of identifying revenue leakages. You ask the bank manager whether there have been any revenue leakages in the branch, and the bank manager smiles at you and counter questions you, saying that, sir, can you be a little more specific? You tell him, say, for example, how does the bank ensure that in collecting demand draft charges from the customer, there has been no revenue leakage? Now the bank manager raises his eyebrows and says, I'm sure you're listening to me with undivided attention. The bank manager says that, sir, our entire bank is on CBS. CBS, Core Banking Solutions. Every single aspect of business rule is automated and programmed within the system. To answer your specific question, as soon as a customer enters our branch and requests for a demand draft, we enter his account number from the first 3 digits. The system understands whether he's a home branch customer or a non-home branch customer. If he's a home branch customer, then between 0 to 5 lakhs, there are no charges for demand drafts. After 5 lakhs, we charge him 0.5%. But if he's a non-home branch customer, then we charge him a flat rate of 0.5% on the demand draft request that he makes. I said exactly my point. How do you ensure that the appropriate demand draft charge is collected by the bank, and in that there is no revenue leakage? He says, sir, the system understands from the account number that we enter, and depending on his account number, it automatically debits his account by the appropriate amount of demand draft charge. There is no question of revenue leakage in this. I'll take a pause over here. I'm sure that explanations like this, most of us as audit professionals would be getting day in and day out. Every single question on evaluation of controls that we pose to our clients invariably gets us an answer that, sir, all this is system based, right? I believe I can hear some yeses. I can hear a lot of yeses. Having said this, the next question is, do we take this assurance of bank manager at face value, of the client at face value, and just move ahead saying that this is system based? The answer again is an astounding no. Sir, of course, we cannot take this explanation at face value. We need to evaluate this. To evaluate this, well, you have different techniques, both techniques that have been used since long in this profession, which includes vouching verification, which includes observation, all of which have inherent limitation. On sample basis, you can pick up a few demand drafts that have been issued last month, but sampling has its inherent limitation. And that inherent limitation is that in picking up samples, we may be plainly unlucky. Plainly unlucky? When is the auditor unlucky? Now, we are in a very interesting profession. We are unlucky when we don't find anything. Yes or no? If we find something, only then we are lucky. So we are unlucky so far as sample is concerned, which means we don't find anything. This doesn't mean nothing wrong exists. Yes. The population may have components where there is a problem, but our sample does not have those components, those items. So our sample is unlucky. We are unlucky at the end of the day. This is the inherent limitation of sampling. There's one more method, and that is observation. You can ask somebody to sit besides the manager or the clerk who is issuing demand drafts. And he can observe whether appropriately the customer's account number is debited. But this method also has an inherent limitation, and that is, you know that the controls are working on 7th of October. Yes, that's right. But you are doing audit for the month of September. When you need to give your audit report on 3 aspects, and that is whether it's appropriately designed, yes. Whether it is implemented, yes. But whether it is in operation throughout the audit period, sir, throughout the audit period, we are observing this system in the month of October and giving opinion for September. There is an inherent risk. As I said, sampling, and number 2, observation are both conventional methods of auditing the system of internal controls. Sir, are there any non-conventional contemporary methods? Well, all my friends, all my younger friends who are good at understanding the problem and who are good at data have already thought about this. Sir, let's do this. Let's do this. Let us get a data dump of all the demand drafts issued from this branch. And this data dump must include the date, the account number, the beneficiary of the demand draft, the amount. Let us also get a data dump, and this is the second data set, which includes all transactions that have transaction code 024. Sir, why 024? Hey, remember, the branch manager said that the system automatically debits the account. When the system automatically debits a customer account on account of demand draft charges, the transaction code is 024 in that system I'm talking about. This is not a universal transaction code. Which means now I have 2 sets of data. One, all the demand drafts issued. Second data set, which includes the account number, the date on which the account is debited, the amount for which that account is debited, for transaction code 024, that is demand drafts issued. Excellent, excellent. Sir, having said this, all my friends who are good at Excel are already jumping on their seats, saying, sir, VLOOKUP. Absolutely right. VLOOKUP. We have a common field, and what we did is simply VLOOKUP. Now, what you have done, you have used data analytics to evaluate internal controls. Or in short, you have already entered the exciting world of audit analytics. Wow. Audit analytics. Sir, what is audit analytics? Audit analytics is data analytics. from controls perspective. That is whenever you are using data analysis to evaluate the system of internal controls, the field, the faculty that you are practicing in is nothing else but audit analytics. I have few friends in Big Four, and I'm sure you also would be knowing so many people in Big Four. One of my friend in Big Four, on his visiting card, says that he's manager dash audit analytics. Manager dash audit analytics. Hey, now you know what he's doing. He is, yes, that's right. That's right. He is doing VLOOKUP. Of course, on the lighter vein, but I have a point to make. I'm saying things lightly, but I'm not saying light things. Whenever you're using data analytics to evaluate internal control, audit analytics. Sir, data analytics to support business decision making, and that is called as business analytics or BA. Excellent. Sir, in this first phase of the talk, we got an understanding of the world of analytics, when analytics is used in the business world for business decision making, to support business decision making, BA or business analytics. When data analytics is used in the audit world to evaluate internal controls, then audit analytics or AA. Let us, with this understanding, move ahead. The point that we have made is that when Mr. Narayan Murthy said, "In God we trust, everybody else brings data to the table," audit professionals know that Mr. Murthy is also addressing us, the audit fraternity. The audit fraternity must also rely on data to build that. Sir, if we are relying on data to give our opinion, then you can work past all the limitations of conventional audit techniques. Sir, what? Yes, that's right. You can work through all the limitations of conventional audit techniques. Sir, like, because you're doing data dump of the month of September, and because you have the complete data set with you, you are not really relying on sampling. You're doing 100% check, 100% verification, which means now you're not really bothered about being unlucky. Today, an auditor can stand tall and he can say that, "Hey, hello, I'm going to do 100% audit, 100%. I'm not going to leave anything for chance, at least in some areas, Number two, now that you have got data of the month of September and you have done 100% thing, you know that the system is appropriately designed, it is implemented. Not only it is implemented, it is operational throughout the audit period. Now, if you identify revenue leakage, you will be able to quantify it to the last penny of the pound, to the last paise of the rupee. So here is where the auditor can stand tall and he can say, "Hello, with the help of audit analytics, I am able to work around the limitations of conventional audit techniques, which includes verification, observation, vouching, or sampling." Let us take the session ahead from here. And as I said, Mr. Murthy is making a point for us as well, for auditors. We can rely on data. And the only people we trust, the only is the Almighty, and everybody else must bring data to the table. It is on data that we will always base our audit opinion. Having said this, now we have a keen interest in understanding aspects of data. Survive, because now it is really affecting me as an auditor. You'll soon see what other roles does data have in the exciting world of data analytics. So how big is this data? 40 zettabytes. 2020, this digital data is estimated to be 40 trillion GB. 40 trillion GB in 2020. 90% of the data was created in 2020 itself. Not only this, this data is going to double every 2 years. Oh my God. Oh my God. What we are looking at is indeed data explosion. Data explosion. Yes, that's right. So where data is going to like double every 2 years. Sir, let us understand the data value chain. If businesses are to benefit from this data, if the profession is going to benefit from this data, then it must understand how to harness this data. To be able to harness this data, you must understand the data value chain. Data value chain has 4 components. At the base level, data needs to be gathered. Data needs to be collected. Data needs to be assimilated. To gather data, to collect data, to assimilate data is the first component in the data value chain. Let me remind you, why are we understanding the data value chain? So that we can harness the value, the potential value in this data. Sir, once the data is collected, it must reach the intended stakeholders. Yes. Data must be shared in a secured environment. Collect data and share data. Collect data and share data. The 2 aspects. Number 3 is to get insights from this data. You know what, friends? Data has a lot of stories to tell only if we are willing to listen. Wow. Data has stories to tell only if we are willing to listen. Are we really willing to listen to data? Yes, we would be able to hear these stories provided we analyze the data. Data needs to be converted into information and information into actionable insights. Getting insights from data is the direct result, the direct objective of analyzing data, which is the third component in the data value chain, the data analysis, which gives us data insights. And once you have those insights, then these insights need to be communicated to the right people for business decision making or professional decision making, which means data communication. Sir, it is natural to understand that these components in the data management value chain are in a chronological order. Chronological order, one after another. You collect data, that is, you gather data. You share it. Once you share it in a secured environment, it needs to be analyzed. Analyzed to convert data into information and information into actionable insights. And having analyzed data, having converted it into information and actionable insight, it still needs to be communicated to the right stakeholders for business decision making, which is the fourth component in the value chain. It is interesting to know that different breeds of professional are responsible for these different aspects of the data value chain. You have the data engineer who is responsible to gather data. You have the data controller who is responsible to share it. You have data scientists, yes, to gather insights from this data. And finally, you have strategic advisors who will communicate this data to the right stakeholders and advise these stakeholders on how to implement these insights for actionable business decisions. So there are strategic advisors who fulfill the role in data communication and business decision making. Well, having said this, what does a data engineer really do? Oh, he cleans the data, collects it, grades it, puts it into a system. He's building pipelines. Wow. He's building algorithms to ensure that data is usable. He has instruments to collect data. Data sharing involves making decisions on who needs to access data and ensuring that all those who need to access data, whether for internal or for external use, have access to this data in a safe and secure environment. Data scientists are smart people who build data models. They'll build data models, they will run those data models. They'll ensure that these data models are scalable. And they, in turn, running those data models will generate insights, which insights will be shared with the strategic advisors, internal and external client and stakeholders. So this is the broad, these are the broad components of the value chain. I'll repeat: gathering data, which is the responsibility of data engineer; data sharing, which is like data controller; data insights. By now, most of my friends have started thinking that if the world of data excites them, then in this value chain, where would they want to fit in? Where would I want to fit in? Do I want to make my career and evolve as a data engineer or as a data controller? Do I want to become a data scientist or a strategic advisor? Wow. Sir, we are trying to understand what opportunities are before us in the exciting world of data. To be able to understand these opportunities, we must understand the roles and responsibilities. This is exactly what we are doing. Sir, how lucrative is the career of data engineers? Let us have a look. Let us have a look. I have some numbers. In the acknowledgement section, I have shared the links from where I've obtained these numbers, well researched. Data engineers are in high demand globally. They are responsible for maintaining and building the infrastructure required to collect data. They are, as I said, building pipelines. I used this word a little while back. Sir, from a data engineer, you become a senior data engineer to the chief data officer, or you can migrate in the world of software development. This is generally the career path of a data engineer. Sir, we have started getting a feel that data engineer is a career which most likely is suitable, is appropriate, is conducive to professionals from the technology background. Technology background who have done their academic training in technology. That's right. They will have to work day in and day out with tools that will engineer the collation of data, the pigeonholing of data. They will build, they will maintain this entire infrastructure, and these people are mostly from the academic world of computer engineering or computer science. Well, you may know friends who may be for commerce background and may be working as data engineers, but as far as my experience goes, they are far and few in between. They are exceptions, and exceptions cannot become examples. So data engineers, of course, is a role in the world of data more conducive to people who have an academic training in the world of technology. Data controller has the stewardship of data. Yes, they are going to protect this data, they are going to curate it, they are going to share it with those who need to know this. So they are really the people who will provide certification on the accuracy of data. Salaries between the annual salaries range around 60,000 US dollars starting, while which is double for data engineers is around 130, more than double. Again, data controllers will become senior data controllers, and they may end up as chief data officers, the C-suite executives. Sir, again, a role most suitable for people from technical background. I'm sure all of us are looking forward to know and understand data analyst. Yes, the smartest of the lot are data analysts who can work with a variety of verticals in the business. Data analytics professionals can work with the marketing team, building business models. They can work with the logistics team, streamlining the supply chain. They can work with the CEO's office and in building data models, what one invariably needs is a strong understanding of business. This is exactly where a chartered accountant's training, academic training, and professional experience helps. As accountants, we are closest to almost every single aspect of the business. While people from marketing only understand marketing, while people from sales understand mostly sales, while people from logistics understand logistics, we understand procurement to payment. We understand marketing to revenue. We understand the business as a whole. This is where we have a natural ability to excel as data analysts who will be responsible to build business models, which will use the data which is assembled by data engineers, made available by data controllers, and analyzed by us to create data into information and information into actionable insights. So data analyst is another very, very important, is one of the most important, something closest to my heart, where I believe that chartered accountants can excel. We also know from the explanation, from the discussions that we did in the earlier part of today's session, that it is the same data analyst, the same techniques when implemented from an audit perspective, he becomes an audit analytics professional, right? So audit can be one more vertical, maybe of the business. I'm saying of the business because I'm saying of the business in single inverted comma, because we know that we need to be independent as audit professionals. At the same time, we are also enablers, right? So that way, data analysts, the skill sets of data analysts can be harnessed by the audit function as well, in the role of an audit analytics professional, data scientists, right? So data analysts and data scientists who are responsible for data insights. You see the vast difference, right? In the roles, they are in great demand, okay? And these data scientists, sir, then what is the difference between data scientists and data analysts? Friends, data scientists take data analytics to the next level by giving predictive analytics. So when an analyst, a data analyst, starts building models to project future, then he is entering the exciting world of becoming a data scientist. I said a lot of good things about data analytics, and I also said that audit professionals are best suited to become data analysts. Why? Because as auditors, we analyze what has happened in the past. As auditors, we have a story to tell. And that story is based on the events that have happened. But if you can make predictions based on your analysis of data, then you are taking a logical step forward from being an analyst to becoming a scientist. You are typically building machine learning models to make accurate project predictions. Machine learning models. I'm going to analyze, help you understand what is machine learning in the next slides. When we say that a scientist will make predictions about future, I'm sure that you understand that he is not going to be a crystal ball glazer. He is not going to make predictions looking at the crystal ball. Neither he is going to be a tarot card reader, sir, which means actually he is not going to make predictions. The predictions are going to be made by models that use algorithms that learn by themselves from the data. You give a lot of data to these algorithms. These algorithms analyze the data and start learning. Every additional transaction in the data set enables the algorithm to either confirm what it has learned or disapprove and learn something new, thereby giving inputs to a model. And that model in turn uses algorithms to predict what will happen in future, which means regressions are performed not by humans, but by those models which in turn use algorithms, which in turn use machine learning. So they are going to find interesting patterns. Friends, I'm sure all of us have started wondering, data analyst or data scientist? I'm happy to share few practical aspects about data analyst or data scientist. The world of data scientist did not exist until a few years back. Data scientists have evolved from data analyst. That's right. Enough of looking into the past and telling stories. Can we, based on past data, predict about the future? Which means welcome to the profession of data scientist. When I say that yesterday's data analysts are today's data scientists, I'm sure all of us get the message that we as chartered accountants can also evolve from being data analysts to becoming data scientists. Needless to say that in becoming data scientists, we need to learn newer things that have not been so far a part of our conventional syllabus. But if we were to progress, these steps must be taken. Well, data scientists, as you see, in very, very high demand, very, very high demand. From 68, around 70,000 US dollars per annum to a data scientist, to a data analyst. The salary moves up, the remuneration moves up to about 1,28,000 US dollars per annum for a data scientist. Of course, I'm talking about the starting remuneration. Strategic advisors, strong storytellers who drives, focuses on relevance and creates value, frame, analyze, and explain. So these strategic advisors will enable business decision making. Even after data is analyzed, data is modeled, and predictions are made of what can happen in future. Even after this, there is an important aspect which needs to be taken care of, and that is using those insights, using those models, using those actionable insights for business decision making. This is exactly where these strategic advisors help. Strategic advisors read insights and based on their reading, advise the CEOs on what strategic decisions can be best made to maximize stakeholder value. Friends, most of us get busy in the world of data, either collecting data. If you're collecting data or you're only distributing data, even if you're analyzing data or even if you're predicting, then even after doing all this, or if you know all this, still the value chain is not really complete until a strategic advisor steps in and reads the insights to identify the business decision that can maximize the stakeholder value. Strategic advisors are built out of experience in the world of data. People who have spent sleepless nights reading and understanding reports where actionable insights are displayed, and then looking at or trying to understand how these actionable insights can be best used for business decision making. This is exactly what the role of strategic advisor is. The point I'm trying to make is, let us understand these roles so that we can understand where we would fit in to create value, how we can evolve from one role to another, and where is it that we want the world of data analytics to take us. Friends, having said this, some of the terms in the world of data, and I'm trying to demystify them. Data is a pure collection of facts and figures. So structured or unstructured data. Structured data is something that is in row and column format. Unstructured data is not in row and column format. The best examples could be Excel data is all into row and column format. Data on Facebook pages is also data. Data on Twitter is also data, but unstructured. This big data. Big data, sir, big data is huge. Huge. The aspects that make a data into big data include volume, its variety, velocity, that is the speed at which it is created, the vision and the value. A high volume, enormous variety, the speed at which it is created and updated, the vision where this data is going to be implemented, and its value makes a data set into what is called as big data. Sir, machine learning, as I said, can be supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement, learning, statistics, and probability is the foundation of data science. That's right. Sir, anybody who wants to make a career as data scientist must start digging deep into the world of statistics and probability. As I said, conventionally, neither statistics nor probability has been, in-depth understanding of statistics and probability has never been a part of our academic learning. But as I said, if we want to evolve from analyst to scientist, cannot do without statistics, cannot do without an in-depth understanding of probability. Some additional courses, some additional certifications can get us there. Programming languages are Python, right? Sir, tools. A question that is asked to me more often than not is, sir, I want to build a career in the world of data. Should I start learning R? How about Python? Python, not Python. We have become smart. We know that it's not Python, it's Python, right? And what about Tableau? Cassandra. Sounds interesting. Okay. So friends, let me put these tools in their places. The question before starting to learn any tool to be asked is what is your end point? Do you want to end up as a data engineer? If yes, then SQL Server or Cassandra or Hive or HBase. Start learning them. Python is for people, again, who want to do like data engineering or data controlling. Excel, yes. In cleaning and mining data. R. You want to explore data? Tableau. You want to analyze data? Then Excel, Python, R. Right? So let us understand where we want to be. If we want to be in the world of data analysis, if we want to be in the world of strategic advising, then yes, Python, R. You don't really have to do SQL Server. But if you want to end up as a data engineer, SQL Server is the way to go. So these are the tools, and I believe tools have their own importance in the world of data. Not only in the world of data, tools are so important, so fundamental to humans that Benjamin Franklin, the founding father of United States of America, once said that man is a tool-making animal. That's right. Man is a tool-making animal, which means that maybe clinically it can be proved that chimpanzees or dolphins have a higher IQ than humans, but humans rule the world. Because we have been able to make tools that have made dams, that have built bridges, that have engineered rockets and satellites. It's all because we have been able to make tools. The study of right tool will put you in the right place to reap, to harness the benefits. And so this is important. Types of analytics can be descriptive, prescriptive, predictive, diagnostic. Sir, we have had a flavor of this understanding where we have said that descriptive analytics is what has happened. Yes. Diagnostic is why did it happen. As chartered accountants, descriptive and diagnostic analysis is what we do for a living. What happened? What happened? Hey, why did it happen? Predictive analytics? Oh, sir, predictive analytics is the domain of, that's right, data scientists. What can happen? While prescriptive, hey, sir, now we know this. Prescriptive analytics is the domain of a strategic advisor. So, needless to say, the complexity and the value of this analytics. What has happened is hindsight. Diagnostic, why did it happen, and predictive, what will happen. But most importantly, how can we make it happen? Prescriptive analysis is foresight, which is the domain of a strategic advisor. Right. So I've already talked about this slide earlier. Some references and acknowledgements before which I would not like to conclude. Professionals' role in data analytics. I've given the websites from URLs for CPA website and data science. Some very Facebook faces, and Daffy.in is a website which is maintained by us. The knowledge base, I would urge you to, if you're looking for getting upskilled in data analytics, feel free to audit and forensic analytics with MS Excel is a course on Udemy. You can join. With this, I look at the watch and 8:49. With all your kind support, with Taran Kumarji's very important SOS role that he played today in ensuring that he takes the first session, and I can. With all this and with my very sincere gratitude to Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in general and DAAB in particular, headed by Nanda sir in particular. I would like to conclude. I do look forward to any questions that you may have for me. Ashima ji, thank you for playing host today evening, and your kind words of introduction has really made my gratitude all the more this thing for you. So thank you. If you have any questions or suggestions, I'm reachable. The best way to reach out to me is by email. The second best is phone number. 9323801801. I firmly believe, friends, it is a question that enlightens. And if you have any question on the exciting world of data, feel free to bounce it off to me. I don't know whether I will have answers to all the questions on planet Earth, but let me assure you that I will make a very sincere attempt to answer your question within a reasonable time and come back to you. Friends, I've always believed that it is a question that enlightens. And the fruit fell on the scientist. I'm talking about the fruit fell on the scientist. I'm talking about, hey, no, not Einstein, not Einstein. I'm talking about Newton, right? Because generally, Newton or Einstein, a scientist is like, that's okay, because once I asked in the audience that the fruit fell on the scientist, I'm talking about, somebody said, sir, apple. The fruit fell on the scientist, and yes, I'm talking about Newton. He asked himself the question, why? The answer was gravity. It is the question that enlightens. So friends, if you have any question, feel free to ask. And I shall be sincerely grateful for these questions, because these questions at the end of the day enlighten not only the speaker, but all of us. Finally, my very hearty gratitude to the participants for being with me, with all of us, late evening Friday. My very, very hearty thanks. And if I sincerely believe we all are at such stage in life where there can neither be teacher nor be taught, we can only endeavor to share our experiences. And if sharing of my experiences has benefited even to the extent of 20% of what you already knew, I will consider all my efforts a grand success. I look forward to connecting with all of you sometime again, sometime soon. Tab tak ke liye khush rahe, apna khayal rakhe. Do have a very pleasant weekend ahead. Thank you and Jai Hind. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for guiding us on the topic and showing us various ways in which chartered accountants could also play a major role in the area of data analysis. However, I have a few questions which have come popping up from the audiences, and I would take a very little bit of your time, and would be very glad if you could answer them. The first question is, how does one ensure data integrity before analysis? Are there any quick fix methods for it?
Right. Friends, ensuring data integrity has always been a very, very challenging aspect, and especially for auditors. First of all, let us try to understand what do we really mean by data integrity. The word integrity, I believe, is not exclusive to the technology domain. It is a quality that is so essential, so central to us. As professionals, we must act with integrity. Yes or no? Right? So data integrity, I'm not talking about something which is like exclusive to the data domain. But still, I would remember Pythagoras, who once said that if you want to talk with me, define your terms. If you want to talk with me, define your terms. What do you really mean by integrity? Integrity is honesty, truthfulness, reliability. What is really integrity? Okay. So integrity is neither truthfulness, nor honesty, nor reliability. Integrity only means free from unauthorized manipulation. Free from unauthorized manipulation. Let me use this in a sentence. Nikunj is a man of high integrity. No, this is not true or false. Or Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's integrity is beyond all doubts. What am I trying to say? I am only saying that if you ask Nikunj anything, if you ask Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam anything, then you can rely on his answer. Why? Because he is free from unauthorized manipulation. You say he's honest, you say he's truthful, you say he's reliable. Honesty, truthfulness, reliability is the effect of integrity integrity, not the definition.
Sir, so
Definition-
basically you're talking about the source from which the data came.
Basically, I'm talking about whether data is free from unauthorized manipulation or not must be ensured before using that data, so that we can be sure that the data is truthful, the data is honest, the data is reliable. We must be sure that the data that is being used is free from unauthorized manipulation. If till here everybody is with me, then I would proceed with the solution. Right? So how can you really ensure that this data on which you are going to work is free from unauthorized manipulation? Free from unauthorized manipulation, every single word that I'm saying, I'm going to be razor sharp and crystal clear in what I say. Free from unauthorized manipulation. Sir, the data is free from unauthorized manipulation. There can be various ways to ensure it. One of my favorite techniques before using the data for audit analytics is to apply Benford's law on that data. Sir, what? Yes, Benford's law. Benford's law is a statistical technique of digital analysis, which can identify manipulation in the data set. Ashimaji, if DAAB can be kind to have a session exclusively on Benford's law, I'll take 1 hour on a Friday evening to explain how to implement Benford's law on a data set and come to a conclusion whether this data set is free from unauthorized manipulation, whether it has integrity or not. And as I said, Benford's law is one of my favorite techniques before using that data for audit analytics. So I believe an attempt that I made is to draw the attention of the participants on a technique, Benford's law. You can Google, or if DAAB can be kind, I shall be happy to go on for 1 more hour on how to use Benford's law to identify manipulation in a data set. Benford's law, please note it down, one of the technique of digital analysis to identify integrity of data. Ashimaji.
Yes, sir. Although we've already reached the time limit, but can we take up 1 more question?
Yes.
It will be brief.
Yes.
How cloud computing of our institutes ABCD affects the data analytics?
How cloud computing
of our institutes ABCD affects data analytics?
Which institutes ABCD? Are you referring to?
CA Institute. The A stands for analysis. B is for I think.
No. So while framing this ABCD, what institute is really telling, B is for blockchain and C and
blockchain
D
and yes, sir.
Yeah. So ABCD. So earlier A used to be for Apple. Anyway. So see, friends.
Blockchain, cloud computing, and B is for data, I think.
Yes. See, by framing this term ABCD, what institute really wants to highlight are the various technologies that are going to shape up the future of businesses and economies. So these ABCDs are going to have a profound impact. Data science, data analysis, or the world of data is going to be within this ABCD. Okay. So when you're talking about blockchain, then of course, blockchain is going to use data, but there is going to be a lot more aspects involved in blockchain, which is going to be built up on the principles that data analysis or data science is going to, which means we are going to evolve. And all this ABCD is going to impact businesses in general and entire economies going ahead. Okay.
So that'll be all. Thank you so much. And on behalf of DAG and on behalf of Safa, I take this opportunity to thank our guests and learned speaker for joining us for the VCM on opportunities in data analytics and professional accountants. I'm sure all our members will benefit from today's deliberation. Thank you all. Jai Hind. Thank you so much, sir.
Jai Hind. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.